The KC Show is based on information based in real time. Opinions of the show does not necessarily reflect the views of our sponsors, guests, or anyone associated with the KC Show. Any information dealing with accusations are alleged till otherwise known. Thank you for watching.
What is going on, everybody? Lord have mercy. Ooh. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I hope y'all can hear me. That was not a nice noise, I know that. Let's check that out before we get started. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen live. That was not a nice noise, I know that. There we go. All right. Sounds like it's coming through now. Sorry about the late start. Had everything set up, and then all of a sudden, everything just wiped out. It was my fault, but that doesn't mean I have to be happy about it. I was trying to do something a little different tonight. I'm still trying to, good gracious alive. This little screen right here is going to be the absolute death of me. But we're going to get started here. We got a good little bit to talk about. There we go. Hopefully get that out of the way. All right. So hopefully everybody's having a good evening. I am hot. I'm out here in this very hot building. Y'all probably might hear some fans in the background. Just try to ignore that as much as possible. But it is warm. Hopefully everybody, again, is having a good night. I had a whole bunch of things planned. And still going to do for the most part all of it. But it's not going to be as pretty. That's unfortunate. I had everything really set up. It was nice. And I hit a button by accident and just wiped it all out. And so, hey, me, we gotta be humbled somehow, right? So, without that, let's go ahead and get started with kind of what's been going on for the past week. Yesterday, I was not live, obviously. It was mine and Patty's anniversary, so I took her out to eat. Had a good time, enjoyed that, and I hope she did as well. And so we're back tonight. This is normally we're a Wednesday night show, but again, like I say, tonight's special. We're doing it Thursday night. I try not to do things on Thursday night. First off, football. Football is always going to dominate. There's other things that are going on Thursday nights as well. And I just don't like streaming on Thursday nights. But we're going to do that. So let's just jump into it real quick if we can here. Let me pull this up here. So I'm sure a lot of you already know, and we're going to be brief on this. We're not going to be talking about this. We actually have got a few little local issues we're going to be talking about, but just wanted to pop this up here. Let's and you see that little image right there, the bats and stuff. That was the button I accidentally hit a Halloween theme, and it is just everything, but it's all right. We'll work through it. So right here, Jack Smith, the feds filed new charges against Donald Trump after he got the smackdown from the Supreme Court to a 6-3 vote, saying that he could not charge Donald Trump. It's now not about getting justice. When you bring charges to somebody, like when a cop here, local, whatever. When they bring charges, usually they don't, have those dismissed and say, well, let's go back and let's see if we can find some new ones. That's what happened here. That's exactly what happened here. I mean, he went back and said, let me go back to the drawing board. Let me see if I can find some new charges. And that's exactly what Jack Smith did. Jack Smith is just a joke of a prosecutor. He's killing his political career. He's probably going to end up facing charges, is what he's going to end up doing, because he's using lawfare to do his bidding. And it's really sad. I mean, I really thought it was dead, because the Supreme Court made it clear you can't charge him. He is immune. 6-3 opinion right here. That was actually last month. Don't seem like it. Seemed like it's been a lot longer. But, this is things that we should kind of expect from that side of the aisle right now. I mean, they are just going crazy with some of the things that they're doing, some of the things that they're saying. And like here's their playing card. Everybody thinks even some of the left, if you talk to them, some of those radical left, even if you talk to them for a second, they're like, well, it's just against Trump. Even though we're violating his rights and doing everything that we're doing to him, it's just Trump. No, it's not. So in Wisconsin, a court rejects Democrats' efforts to remove Steen from a ballot. This is in Wisconsin. Completely different candidate. They have rejected trying to keep her off a ballot, which is her given right to do so. This is what their game plan has been the whole time. If you don't agree with us, we will just remove you from existence. And that's what they do. It just makes no sense on why people are doing that. Hey, Sherry, how you doing? Good to see you tonight. It's crazy. But last night when I was testing the stream, I actually have more people watching the test. Than I do tonight. And that's what I say. Thursdays is kind of a hit or miss type of night. I prefer not to do it, but let me share this on my page real quick. And by the way, if you didn't see it on the page, Jerry is going to be having on prime time Monday at 7. Jerry's going to be having T.G. Shepard, William Lee Golden, Lacey J. Dalton, and Danny Stephanatis. I'm pretty sure I butchered that, but got a lot of good guests coming up, so y'all make sure you'll check that out. But back to real quick what I was saying here. Let's close this one out here. And, you know, Donald Trump made a quick video. He did another ad for Kamala Harris, and I believe this
afternoon I'm laying out my plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet.
No, I don't think that's...
Be doing everything we can to make it more affordable to buy a home.
A just released housing index reveals just how rough the market is, especially for first-time home buyers. It showed home prices for the nation's top 20 metro areas rose 5.4% from June of last year to June of this year, a record jump for that month.
The average home buyer needs to make over $110,000 to afford the average home. Home buyers only needed to make $76,000 back in 2020.
Mortgage rates are now at their highest level in 21 years.
86% of U.S. renters would like to buy, but they can't. That really speaks to a lot of pessimism here about the American dream, how it feels like it's out of reach. Home ownership remains the ticket to wealth generation. So this is just widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots.
She stands there and says on day one, she's going to tackle the housing affordability crisis in our country.
But day one for Kamala was 3.5 years ago.
What the hell have you been doing for all that time?
I agree with that. Very dangerously liberal is his statement that he's making. I agree with him wholeheartedly. Sorry about the graphic there. It's all crazy. But that is exactly what Trump has been trying to tell people, and other Republicans have been trying to tell people for a while now. You know, these problems are being caused by the Democrats, so that way they can come back in 4 years and say, hey, we're going to fix this. It's not our fault. Don't listen to the news. Whatever news will tell the truth. You know, so that's the problem. Like, let's look at this real quick. Let me pull this up. I really miss my old system already a little bit, but we're gonna be okay. I hate the bat situation. I'm sorry about that, y'all, but we'll live with this. And Halloween is coming up. We're actually going to decorate soon, so maybe it's not a bad thing. So RFK joins Donald Trump, but the reason he said that he joined Donald Trump is because he had 16 months of censorship. And he goes down here and he gives an example. He said when Ross Perot ran, in the 10 months that he ran, he had 34 appearances on networks. Kennedy says he's only had 2 appearances in 16 months. 16 months. So almost double the time, and not even 1, maybe 2% of the viewing that he would get as Ross Perot did. So this is the game plan. Silence you, try to eliminate you, and this is what they do. And now, they're talking about the Secret Service is now being looked into possibly having something to do with the assassination. And that to me is just, it's dangerous. It is crazy. What can you really say of it? Is that, we knew it's been going on for a while. People didn't want to believe it. They definitely just thought that it was simply conspiracy theories. And it's real. It's very real. This is a new camera, by the way. So we got this on a track. As y'all can see, it's kind of moving a little bit. I really have this one set up nice. And like I said, I kind of messed up everything, but it's still nice. Looks good. I look like I am sweating to death, but I'm not. It's just really, really hot. It's just really hot, but we're going to move on here. Let me show y'all this. This one right here was really good. Donald Trump really put the mic drop, as they say, on this reporter here.
Mr. President, can you just respond to Kamala Harris's campaign attacking you for being in this town because they say there were white supremacists here a month ago? The town condemned it to you.
Who was here in 2021?
Joe Biden.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Donald Trump, he doesn't have to talk much. Like with this debate coming up with Kamala, he's got to do the same thing he did with Biden. Just let him talk. Let them talk. They'll bury themselves because when you lie, you forget. When you're lying all the time, you forget what lie you've told. And so Donald Trump is basically, is something wrong? Oh, okay. All right. So let me go back to this. I'm sorry about that, y'all. Not sure why. She said I had an echo on that one. So we'll lay off of that one. Is it better now? Okay. It's got something to do with the camera. I probably don't have that camera muted. Like I say, I had everything set up. Oh, it was so nice. And I just got silly, wiped everything out. But I'll just leave it on this camera and not worry about the other one. Sorry about that. So, again, Donald Trump, they were talking about there was a protest of, I believe the KKK was doing a march, they said, in this town that he was in Howell, Michigan. But they were like, how could you come here and do a speech, and all this? It's like, well, these few idiots doing a little march down the street, everybody should be punished in the entire town. But then he didn't even have to say that. He just turned around and said, well, who was here? And Joe Biden was here. So he can do it, but I can't. And you're just making them eat as much crow as they can stuff in their mouth. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And look forward to more of it. Now, we're going to move on from that because I know a lot of people get tired of hearing about politicians. You hear it all the time. Let's talk about something a little bit more local. So a lot of a lot of things are coming into town. We got a tire shop that's coming. We have Taco Bell that's supposed to be coming. There was a couple of other restaurants that you keep hearing rumors, but I'm pretty sure a lot of them are just right now in talks. I believe Cookout right now has backed out. Now, whether that'll change, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. But one thing that they are bringing or trying to bring, sounds like it's going to be moving forward. It's going to be and Greg talked about it, amphitheater. And I had heard something about the amphitheater not too long back before we had Greg on, but when Greg talked about it, I was kind of wanting to look into it a little bit more, see what they were talking about. And when I pulled up, and it may play an ad, I'm not sure, but this right here is something that I wanted y'all to see. This was reported on by Fox. Let's see if we can get this to play.
Like many areas across the FCC, the city of Union has not seen a boom in new residents or development. In fact, the population is declining. Now the city is planning ways to help attract more people. That's their focus, trying to bring people in. Fox County's Kenny Harris gives us a look at what they have in store.
A lot of people like the small town atmosphere.
The liveliness of downtown Union hasn't been seen in a decade.
And I think we still can have that with growth.
According to 2022 census data, Union County's population has dropped by nearly 8% since 2010. That's about 2,000 fewer people. But City Administrator Joe Nichols says the city is working on ways to...
All right, let me stop that real quick. I just heard that part. Let's do a live search here. Union County SC census in 2010. Let's see if it'll bring it up. In 2010, there were 28,961 people in Union County. And right now we're probably under 27 at this point. I'll be honest with you. I always thought it was more. I thought we have more citizens in our town since then. Man, that is crazy. Let's go back.
To entice growth.
As long as we get rooftops, we get something that people can do, which I always hear. We got to have something culture-wise that we can do in Union. We feel like these residents that are driving into Union to work will come to Union and stay here.
Nichols says housing options and retail stores are slowly growing, so they're investing in creating things to do, like an amphitheater.
I feel like that's the best avenue for us, for our park, and we want to continue to see it grow.
The idea is to build a 250-seat amphitheater across from Foster Park. They're in the early stages of planning, but this space will host 5 to 6 events in the first year. Funding kicked off with a nearly $1 million grant from Arc Area Development Program. Then $170,000 from the city, plus...
All right, let's keep this up here for a second. ARC, that is a grant. Now, like most grants, they're usually taxpayer funded. Now, is this one it? I'm not sure. But it's probably got a high percentage chance of being taxpayer funded. $976,000. And look right here. We just had a big lawsuit. And we got hit with this. A big lawsuit in the city. And I'm not going to say the amount because honestly, I don't know the amount. I know it's money. I know it's money we don't have. But $270,000 is coming out of our tax. How can we lower taxes with this right here? It's never been an agenda, guys. It's never been an agenda for us to lower taxes. Never. That penny tax, this is what it was for. Let me finish playing and I'll keep going.
Plus another $100,000 donated from a resident.
The city administrator says the hope is that this amphitheater project and the events that it'll host will draw people to Union. However, some residents who live nearby have concerns.
No one in a band goes to do a concert and tries to keep their noise level low.
Leroy Kennedy lives in a neighborhood closest to where the amphitheater is planned. He and a few others worry about noise, the proximity to a popular 4-lane road, and the feasibility of the site.
I do think it will be a positive impact for our community, and I'd sure like to see them find a better location for it. I think we've got several here in the park. That would be great. One of them, I think, is back there by the lodge.
Nichols says the embankment of the site will drown noise, traffic, and other site concerns will be addressed during the final design plans. Kennedy Harris, Fox Carolina News.
Well, the amphitheater will take about 12 to 18 months to complete. In the meantime, the city is also working on a downtown vision plan.
Okay, so let's bring it back to me. So, listen, me and Patty were talking about this. She was super positive when I first started talking about it. And when I first heard about it, I'm like, man, this will be good. And I'm not saying it can't be good. It could definitely be good. It can definitely help Union County with certain things. But it's only going to do 5 to 6 shows a year. Is that what it said? Let me go back. Let me read. I don't want to guess. Lord God, I do not want to guess. Yes. So the idea is to build a 250-seat amphitheater across from Foster Park in the vacant lot at the intersection of Arthur Boulevard. and Lakeside Drive. They're in the early stage of planning, but the space will host 5 to 6 events a year. I have a lot of questions. I'll keep my opinions to myself right now until I have those questions answered. But I will say a few things. I agree with the gentleman, because I told Patty, I said, one of the first things is that there's a neighborhood right through them woods. I bet you, Jerry has a great sound system. He's got huge speakers. He does DJing for weddings and all that stuff. I bet you, if me and him went over there, took those speakers and turned them up as loud as we could and started playing them, let's say about 9, 10 o'clock at night, we're going to get the law called on us almost immediately. Because that sound's going to travel. That neighborhood is very close. And so I agree with him. Now, on the other side, where he's talking about down there by that building, I can't remember the name of it. It went right out of my head. But that is better. It's a lot of wooded area. Now, there's a neighborhood way back, like you're going toward the Fresh Air Galaxy. All that. There's neighborhoods back in there, but it's not as close as what that is. And it would be on a side road instead of the main highway going up Arthur Boulevard. So there are a lot of things that's good about this. There are a lot of things that are bad about it too. We could use the amphitheater, I'm sure, to be great. Bring in some great potential. Depends on what the acts they bring. It could really be something beneficial to Union. Now, that being said, I don't think people are going to move into Union because of an amphitheater. And I hope he doesn't think that either. Even though he's kind of mentioned that. Like, people are moving, work, coming down here to work, which is insane to me. We have 27,000 people, maybe 26 at this point. You know what? We can pull this up too. Let's pull this up. Yeah, sorry about the bats. God, it's so stupid. So in Union right now, the look at your age groups, a percentage of what really fills in Union. From 30 to basically 70 is the majority of what you have here in Union. This is your majority. All right. 47% male, 53 female. Now, right here, you want to talk about why people are leaving Union County, and we're not growing. There is nothing on here about a freaking amphitheater. Okay, I'm not trying to be mean. I swear I'm not trying to be smart. This is the problem right here. Do y'all see this? $26,111 per capita income, meaning per person, is the average of what is in Union County. That is about 3/4 of the amount of the average of the rest of South Carolina, which is $36,072. Holy crap. This is our problem. We don't have sustainable jobs. This is the problem. An amphitheater is something that you bring when the town is growing and you want to continue making it grow. Right now, people need jobs. Guess what? When we build this theater, what has to be done to this theater every single day, every single month, and every single year? It has to be maintained. How do you do that? You have to pay taxes. It costs to do this. And let's talk about resources. We are already struggling with resources of police officers in the city and in the Union County. We're already struggling with that. So when we got football games, we got a lot of cops tied up trying to keep people safe. When the fair comes, we got a lot of people tied up. When we have events, you got people tied up, Uniquely Union, all these other things. They have to have EMS and they have to have police on standby. They have to. It's part of the permit. So with this, again, is another pooling of those resources. Can we afford it? What about raises for law enforcement? What about raises? Could we start there and see if we can get more police to sign up? How about for once we pull cops from other towns instead of other towns pulling cops from us? And how about we start doing exit interviews with these police to find out, why are you leaving us? What can we do to help you? Is it a supervisory problem? Okay. How many people quit because they're a supervisor? Probably about 80 to 85%, right? Okay. If it's just one guy out of 10 who have quit because of their supervisor, okay, they just didn't get along. But when you've got 8 out of 10, now we have a problem. Now we need to have a discussion. That person may need to adjust. Or maybe that person's just not fit to be in a supervisory role. There are plenty of managers who I've come by who can do P&L work. They can run a business with the best of them. But when it comes to handling personnel issues, they don't have that it factor to talk and handle people. 21.1% were below the poverty line. That is 1.5 times the rate of South Carolina at 14.4%. These are the reasons that we're dying, and we're not going to grow from an amphitheater, fixing up our main street. It's beautiful. It makes people feel warm and fuzzy who's going to stay here for the rest of their lives, probably like somebody like me. That's warm and fuzzy. We're going to ride by, we're going to see this beautiful amphitheater, and we're going to have Joe Nichols to thank. That's great. And thank you, Joe. I'm not against you on this. It sounds like it's already in the plans, already in the works. That's great. It does give us something to add to maybe somebody looking at moving into Union. That's wonderful. But what are some of the main keys that people want to move into a town for? Not just Union, what is? Schools, home prices, crime rate, and the economy. We have umpteenth restaurants in this town, right? We have a lot. It's hard to almost support them all. You would have to eat every night, just about, out to eat, every weekend, in Union, never going out of town, to try to touch and support every single one of these towns. Yeah, Roger. It's not growing. We're not growing, and we can't sit here and be trying to hide away from the reasons why. You know, we have some great people doing a lot of great things in Union County. Spartanburg Community College up there on 176. They're constantly doing job fairs. They are constantly trying to. But you know, when you look at a lot of these jobs, there are union jobs in there, but for the most part, it's out of town. We got to have jobs here, and I'm not talking about. And there's nothing wrong with this, but it's not sustainable. But going to work at McDonald's for $8, $9 an hour, that's for a high school kid. That's for a part-time job. Somebody who's trying to sustain their life and support their family, that is not a job that is going to be sustained. The life of a retail employee and a restaurant employee is minute. It is less than a year, I know. It is very rare that you see somebody make it in those industries more than a year. It's not sustainable. Now, what's the lifespan of somebody who works in a plant, a mill of some type? It's probably double that, maybe even triple that. But for the most part, people can work in those places for years. Why? It's sustainable. Has good insurance, great benefits. Working at McDonald's, working at Walmart, working at those places, Roses, and listen, I'm not bashing those. That's the way that business is built. It's not the business's fault. That's just the way it's built, and that's the way it is. It's a lot of unsure hours, a lot of rotating of hours, a lot of call-ins, call-outs. You know, you got managers who are working, 50, 60, 70 hours a week because their employees are calling out, and it runs them ragged. In retail, it's the worst. It's just the worst. Because when you're offering somebody $9, maybe $10 an hour to come work, it's not as needed as if somebody who's making $22, $23 an hour, who's like, I got to go to work. I gotta go make that money. Not that change. And to be fair to those businesses, the reason they can't pay that much is because they got to keep the prices at a level to where they can afford to beat out their competitors. So that's going to be a tough sell. Is it something that's, like I say, a braggadocious type of thing? Hey, we got an amphitheater. Come on down. We can sit 250 people. You know, you want to come down and watch this concert? Yeah, we'll be down there in a little bit. You want to move? No. No, but we'll come and watch, we'll come watch somebody sing. We'll come watch Lone Star or whoever they get. That ain't going to make them move. That's not going to happen. And they know that. But I'm glad they're trying to do something. We just really need to get serious on what the problem is. And it took me, 30 seconds to bring this graphic up. And here's your problem. Here's your problem right here. Here's something. I didn't even look at this. Transportation to work. We average 30 minutes. Now, what is out of Union 30 minutes? Spartanburg. That's 10% higher than any other place in South Carolina. The average of South Carolina. You know, Union's a big town. A lot of people don't realize that. Our square acreage of this town is massive. It's probably one of the biggest. We're just a small town, small city. For us to get anywhere, there's no interstate. So there's no quick and hop. So the average time to get to your job is 28 minutes. That's the average median household, which means 2 incomes, is $42,000. That is about, it says here, 2/3, which is almost is $21,000 cheaper or less than the average of South Carolina. These are massive numbers. Look, the fertility rate is down, meaning people aren't having youngins here in Union. That is starting to drop. This is your population right here. There's your problem. This did not take long, guys. It's and then you got your education here. We're about 90% of the rate of the South Carolina graduate. I mean, I think they meant 9%. It says 90, but I think they meant 9 because the South Carolina average is 89.3. We're at 81.6, which it's not good. These are the problems. A lot of people move to Union County for the small town environment. But we're starting to move out of that small town environment. We're trying to do big town things. And we can't support it with what we have. You can't keep taxing us to death to support this stuff. Yeah, Patty says with traffic, it takes her about 45 minutes to get to work. About 45 minutes, give or take. So, and I have to go to Rock Hill sometimes. That's an hour and 10 minutes. Hour 10. I could go on and on. Ask questions. This is probably a snowball in the world down below and chance to do this. I wish he would sit down with me and let people ask him questions live. People have good ideas. People have great ideas. That's why it should go through a community. Why can't you talk to us about these things? It just pops up. And history should show you anything that's kind of popped up like that doesn't do well. But we'll see. like I say, Patty's excited about it. I mean, I'm excited about it. It depends on what kind of talent, what are we going to be able to offer somebody to come down here? Now, this all costs money. So if we sponsor an artist to come here, that's not going to be cheap. And you kind of want them to be relevant to bring in a crowd. I mean, we had Lone Star come down. Was it 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. It could be a little bit longer. But I think it was 2 years ago. The weather was rough. It was cold. The weather was rough. And Lone Star's got a good name. And I think they said less than 100 people showed up, maybe 100. And that's a big name. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe it'll boom. Maybe it'll absolutely boom. And even if it booms, it's not going to bring people to town to move. I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Amphitheater is something that you search for when you're looking for a hotel. Is there things to do around this hotel? If you go to the beach or the mountains, well, there's an amphitheater. Well, let me look that up. Who's playing there tonight? That's more of what we're going to get now. Tourist season, big buck, and all that. That's going to play hand in hand. That'll work, but we'll see. Good luck. I mean, good luck to them. I swear I'm not trying to bash them in any way, shape, or form. I hope it works. They have got to advertise better. A lot of people didn't even know Lone Star was down. That was tough. The weather was the biggest factor. But yeah, they got to advertise, and they got to get out of that box of their advertising. Excuse me, microphone. That box of the two medias that are in Union County, we've got to move outside of that box. It doesn't resonate with people anymore. It's outdated. It just is. We've got to find other ways to get the word out. If you want this, if you're truly wanting this to be successful, Joe, please accept my invite. And I'm not meaning that sarcastic. We'll talk about the amphitheater and that's it. Or I don't even have to ask you questions. Maybe we could set it up to where people could call in. If you're serious about it, come here. We'll do a live broadcast, and we'll talk about it. We'll see where it goes. That's not being funny. I would love to have you. Like I say, I told Patty, and I talked to a gentleman today who I talked to for a little while, and I've talked to a lot of people, and they are loving, whatever word, the new way that I'm going about this show. No hostility, no bashing, just putting the facts out here. And that's all I'm trying to do. And I would love for him to come and give us facts, give us information. Can he show us the data on what research he did to show that the amphitheater will grow a population? Does he have that? Did he have that at the time of filing for this grant? Can he release that information? It ain't got to be here. Could be at the other media outlets. I think that's a pretty good question. I mean, I hope. Patty wants a bowling alley, but yet every time I go to Spartanburg, she never mentions bowling. So with that, we're gonna move on. I'm running out of time. Just really wanted to dig into that for a second. Let's go here real quick. Union County football. Unfortunately, we had a tough loss this past weekend. Looking for some better opportunities to this weekend. Good luck to them. I'm sure. Hey, listen, new coach, new scheme, new system. It takes time. Don't get down on yourselves, fellas. Y'all are going to get it in place. And that includes the coaches. You're going to get it right. It takes time, and people just need to take their time. Let them do their process. So Union County will play at 7:30 against Fairfield Central. Looking forward to that. I seen this picture here. I thought that was pretty cool. Quinnan put this up there. Nice little picture they did, getting the field ready. I believe that's going to be for the JV game and the first home game for varsity as well, I believe. So that looks great. They did a good job. Man, that's talent. To draw on that big of a scale is crazy. The weather, it's going to be warm a little bit. I'm pulling this up so everybody can know. There is a possible chance for a little rain, but it's supposed to cool down right over here on Thursday. So y'all definitely look at that. Real quick, Lockhart will be doing something for, they already did a tribute to my family member and a couple of, everything okay? What message? Oh, yeah. Yeah. It ain't, yeah, that's fine. So it, Patty always loves to throw me off, but, Bubba Lee, Walter Lee, Bubba Brandon, he, that's some family, Grady and all them. That's, some close family. They named it after the bridge, and they're going to be doing, something next Saturday. Let me pull this up. Sorry. Kind of got threw off there by Patty. I thought something was wrong with the stream. Guys, and I had all this set up beautiful. It was so nice looking, but it is what it is. Sorry, my phone, of course, is wanting to freeze up. Yep, and it just crashed. I'm telling you, if it's going to do anything, there we go. So on September the 7th, a memorial dedication of the bridge on Highway 9 going into Lockhart will be dedicated to the memory of PFC Frank Leroy Frankie Barbie. Let me pull him up. There we go. Who was killed on August 28, 1966 in Vietnam. His family has been asked to gather at Lockhart Town Hall at 9:30. So if anybody wants to try to go out there, support them on that, definitely want to. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Jerry sent me some information on this, and I read it too. He was one day away. Let me read this for you real quick. The day he was scheduled to depart from South Vietnam for the Philippines on what he had written to his family as good duty, he was killed in action on that Sunday. So he was one day away from being shipped out, and he had been alive with us today. So that, I cannot imagine how tough that is for the family. To know that information, that has to be tough. But, he gave his life, for us, and so did my family. And I'm sorry, and I forgot to pop him up here. I am so sorry about that. Sorry again about the bats. But you also have Roy Bratton, First Lieutenant. He is also being attributed by this bridge in Lockhart. Pull the pictures. I mean, everybody pretty much knows what it is, but I felt like some pictures there would be nice. They did a great job on this bridge, and could not think of better people to name this after. These were all people of Lockhart, and the Brandons were deeply rooted in Lockhart. So it was definitely very, very nice of them to do what they did. So thank y'all for that. I want to thank Doug Gillum, Harvey Peeler, Jerry McKee, and Miss Edna McKee. All those people were doing the work, getting this done, and I have pictures of them up there. I know Edna's very happy that that it got deleted, because I know she probably would have probably threw a rolling pin of some type at me, but she deserves it. She deserves it just as much as them. They were working hard to get that done, and they did. They got it done. And no process is easy. And wow, that was loud. Let's turn that down. So, you know, we appreciate them, and I couldn't be more tickled. You know, to have a family member on that bridge, that's super nice, guys. It's super nice. But let's go on from here, and let's take a look at the last few things, and then we're going to wrap it up. I seen this video. You know what? I'm gonna just pop it up here. Y'all can go check it out. This is a ex-Pentagon official who has claimed on official levels that the U.S. had recovered non-human specimens. He has come out and let people know. I was going to play the video, but we're getting close on time. So y'all check that out. That's crazy. That is crazy to me. So we got here. This was a funny story, and we're going to end on this. Check this video out, y'all.
Police responding to a 9-year-old missing boy in Brooklyn. Our cameras were actually rolling as that 9-year-old was found on a building rooftop. Dan Rice is in Skyfox HD right now. Dan, you were above all of this when it went down. Please explain to us how this happened.
Well, Bianca, it's the nightmare that every parent dreads to hear. Their child left for school at 7 o'clock this morning, never made it to school. So police were called to this high-rise in Midwood, Brooklyn. They had a search going on throughout the city to see if they could find the missing 9-year-old boy. Police aviation was up around around Brooklyn, around Queens, around Manhattan, trying to see if they could find where this boy ended up. As we arrived on the scene to bring you the story here at noon, we were doing our own search on the rooftop, and when we zoomed in with the camera, we saw in this chair over here a young man fitting the description of the boy that was missing. We looked at the boy, what he was wearing, we saw the description, so we were able to relay that information to the police, the 6-1 precinct officers who were down on the street. They came up onto the roof, climbed over the fencing, came over to the boy, and sure enough, it was the boy they were looking for. The officers gave us a thumbs up to the helicopter's camera, and were able to bring the boy safely back to his parents. EMS here, just as a precaution. Police doing their investigation still, but again, a happy ending to what could have been a terrible story, Bianca.
Absolutely. Glad that boy is found safe, most importantly.
So what he was doing, he was playing hooky. So they had the police out searching for him, looking for him. He was playing hooky from school, and man, he was doing it in a style. And I had to share that. I thought that was just a funny video. Glad he was okay, but I just thought that was so cool, so funny that man, he went to some extreme lengths to skip school, and he looked like he probably learning more sitting on that rooftop than probably in school. Who knows? But I just thought that was pretty cute, pretty funny. But Kathy, let's read a couple of comments before we roll. Kathy said that would be awesome if he would come on your show and answer the people's questions. Absolutely. I would love for him to do that. I would love for him to do that. Give me the opportunity. Let's talk about it. I would love that. Hopefully you'll give us that opportunity and that chance. Or go to the other media outlet. Do it there. That's fine. Just talk to the people. I don't care where you do it. I was going to say, do a community meeting somewhere, but people have a hard time showing up to those. People are busy. And, unless he maybe wants to live stream it. But it would be better if he could do it in a studio type of thing here. Could bring in calls, read messages, stuff like that. It would be nice. But that being said, that's it for tonight. I'm sorry, I had a great visuals set up for the show. Worked really hard on it, and I messed that up, and I am sorry about that. But it worked out, turned out okay. And hopefully I'm giving y'all a better show, a little bit of a show that you can be more proud of, going a different route. And I appreciate everybody. The response of how we're doing this show has been unreal. Everybody's been so nice and giving me, not us, giving me a second opportunity to do it in a better way than the first route. And I appreciate that. We're going to bring more positive. Like I say, again, I'm not against this amphitheater idea. I just want to make sure that people's concerns are being heard. And there are some other things going on that I want to ask about. There's a talk of possibly a trail that's being looked at being built on some old railroad trackways. You know, a lot of little things, and you know, some people are a little concerned about that because the trail kind of goes into some residential areas. And guys, you know, in the last 3-4 years, we've seen some pretty crazy stories. Now, don't get me wrong, this one's in a residential area, but it's still a trail. You know, we've heard some crazy stories that's happened in that trail, and some things that happened in that trail down there by Foster Park. Now, it is more concealed than what this one would be. But if it was my home, I don't think I would want a trail going right next to my house. And I don't think I would want an amphitheater, you know, less than 100 yards away from my house. Really loud music. I don't know how that would affect their housing market. Maybe somebody will want it and they'll enjoy it. They'll sit in their backyard and, you know, be jamming out. So, you know, again, Joe, I would love the opportunity if you have the time. I would love a chance to sit down and talk with you, and I just really would appreciate it. But, like I say, don't want to do that here. Understandable. It's absolutely understandable. But maybe you could do it at WBCU, somewhere else. That'd be great. Please. But enough of that. Guys, thank y'all. We appreciate you. I am sorry that this did not come out. I mean, I had a graphic of the guys. Like, let's show you real quick. I had their names up under here with a beautiful flag in the background. It just, I hated that I messed that up. But we're gonna do something. We're gonna do a little live broadcast from the bridge one day. Get an opportunity to go out there and really pay tribute to these gentlemen and anybody who serves. We appreciate it, and this is the way appreciation should be shown to military, right here. So thank these guys. We're going to end it with them on the screen. Guys, y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for bearing with the whole bat transition. Thank y'all.